In the shadowy corners of global conflict, there exists an industry that often operates out of the limelight, yet plays a vital role in modern warfare. This is the world of private military contractors, or PMCs, businesses that are hired to provide a variety of services that were traditionally carried out by national military forces. These services include everything from mundane yet crucial logistics like meal preparation and transportation to high-risk activities such as personal protection and even frontline combat. PMCs exist in a niche that straddles both military and commercial sectors. They're part of an emerging trend known as the privatization of war, where tasks and responsibilities once solely the domain of the state are outsourced to private entities. This shift has altered the dynamics of how conflicts are handled globally and has raised several pertinent questions about accountability, transparency, and ethics. In a historical context, the role of force in society has predominantly been a function of the state. The emergence of PMCs, however, represents a change from this norm. This trend was driven by several factors. For one, many nations engaged in prolonged conflicts found themselves stretched beyond capacity, both in terms of personnel and resources. Additionally, budget constraints often made maintaining a large standing army impractical. In response to these challenges, nations like the United States and the United Kingdom began turning to PMCs to supplement their military efforts. The use of contractors allowed these countries to tap into a pool of specialized skill sets, often drawn from former military personnel, and provide a flexible workforce that could be rapidly deployed and scaled back as required. Furthermore, outsourcing certain tasks to PMCs was seen as a cost-effective strategy, helping to alleviate pressure on defense budgets. This pivot towards using PMCs has become particularly apparent during the Iraq War in the early 21st century. The U.S. and its allies hired contractors in unprecedented numbers, deploying them to perform a vast range of tasks, from logistical support to security operations. These contractors operated in various capacities, including providing personal protection for diplomats, training local security forces, maintaining and repairing equipment, and carrying out construction work. The use of PMCs in such roles proved lucrative for the companies involved. In conflict zones where stability and security were lacking, PMCs found a ready market for their services. The demand for security services, logistics, training, and more provided a steady stream of revenue. However, this commercialization of war has led to numerous controversies and debates. Indeed, the economic viability of PMCs is often a double-edged sword. On one hand, they represent a crucial component in conflict management, particularly for nations that lack the capacity or resources to maintain extensive military operations. On the other hand, the profit-driven nature of these entities raises important ethical and legal concerns. The use of PMCs has drawn criticism due to the lack of comprehensive regulatory framework to oversee their operations. The absence of stringent regulation and the often secretive nature of their work can create an environment in which misconduct may go unchecked. Allegations of human rights abuses, illegal activities, and lack of accountability have been levied against various PMCs, with incidents such as the 2007 Nisour Square massacre by Blackwater contractors in Iraq sparking international outrage. In addition to ethical and legal considerations, the use of PMCs also introduces complex geopolitical ramifications. For instance, PMCs can operate in regions where national militaries cannot, due to political sensitivities or international law. Their presence in such regions can complicate diplomatic relations and potentially exacerbate tensions. Moreover, the proliferation of PMCs has raised questions about their potential to influence conflict dynamics. In theory, the privatization of war could encourage prolongation of conflicts. If a PMC is profiting from a war, it could, hypothetically, have a vested interest in the continuation of that conflict. Similarly, the decision to end a conflict may become more complicated if doing so would affect the interests of powerful PMC stakeholders. PMCs can also impact the nature of warfare itself. The traditional model of warfare has been state-centric, with clear lines of command and control. PMCs, however, operate outside this model. Their chain of command often differs from that of national militaries, and they are not necessarily beholden to the same rules of engagement. This can blur the lines of accountability and responsibility in the event of misconduct or mistakes. The hiring of PMCs by non-state actors further complicates the picture. While traditionally employed by nation-states, PMCs are increasingly being hired by private corporations, NGOs, and even individual civilians. This presents a new set of challenges in terms of regulation, accountability, and international law. Despite these concerns, PMCs are undeniably embedded in the fabric of modern warfare. The demand for their services continues unabated, fueled by ongoing global conflicts and the complex security needs of the 21st century. While the lucrative nature of the industry is evident, it's essential to note that the costs of privatizing war are not solely financial, but have far-reaching social, ethical, and geopolitical implications. The rise of PMCs has also had ripple effects on military recruitment and personnel retention. In many cases, PMCs are able to offer significantly higher pay to their employees than national militaries, leading to a brain drain of experienced and skilled military personnel. This trend can result in a diminished capacity for national militaries and potentially compromise a nation's defense capabilities. While PMCs often recruit former military personnel, the criteria for employment can vary widely from company to company. This lack of standardization raises concerns about the quality and professionalism of PMC personnel. While some may be highly trained ex-soldiers, others may lack adequate training or have questionable backgrounds. This inconsistency further complicates the issue of accountability and contributes to the controversy surrounding the industry. Given their often secretive operations, it can be challenging to gauge the full extent of PMC involvement in global conflicts. Some critics argue that this opacity enables states to avoid public scrutiny of their military engagements. By outsourcing controversial activities to PMCs, governments can maintain a level of deniability about their involvement in certain actions or conflicts. In a broader socio-political context, the use of PMCs has implications for democracy and civil-military relations. Historically, the decision to go to war has been a matter of public debate and parliamentary approval. However, the use of PMCs can circumvent these democratic processes, as governments can deploy contractors without the same level of public and legislative oversight required for regular troops. The world of private military contractors is complex and fraught with controversy. As this industry continues to evolve and grow, addressing the myriad ethical, legal, and geopolitical issues it raises will be of paramount importance. The challenge lies in developing effective regulatory frameworks that can ensure accountability and transparency while acknowledging the increasingly prominent role PMCs play in modern warfare. Private military contractors represent an indelible facet of modern conflict. These entities, operating in the penumbra of warfare, are entities that both profit from and contribute to the management of global conflict. They emerged out of necessity, filling gaps left by overstretched, resource-deprived militaries, and have since rooted themselves firmly in the structure of international security. In a world where conflict is increasingly outsourced and commercialized, striking a balance between the utility of PMCs and the potential risks they pose remains a complex yet critical task. Addressing this challenge will be instrumental in shaping the future of warfare and the place of private military contractors within it.